Alright. Yeah, we did well to start with this water out of the shake hole. Right, you're on. Yeah, definitely a decent piece of engineering. Very necessary, guys. Certainly, I'm going to have that pacing like we had on that first picture last time. Yeah, it's working well, isn't it? Excellent, sort of scoured out. Yeah, maybe we might do a bit of digging down the far end, I'm not sure. The water's through. It's okay. Yeah, it's working well, isn't it? Brindley would be proud. Top floor dictates that it does.
Yeah, you gonna have a look?
Yeah. Don't fucking fall down, we'll have an instant dig. Right, just to build up.
Well, this wasn't here last time we came. So. Yeah, I think I've sumped it.
Oh well. It'll be blocked up with snow. Yeah. I don't suppose the water's much above freezing. We'll find out in a minute.
Yep. Ready, go!
Yeah, well, now look, the fucker will be full of snow. Don't fall through the cornice.
Blimey. Good job we got a shovel anyway.
Yeah, you're not kidding. A sound piece of council equipment. Maybe do, don't fall in, I'm not rescuing you. How full is it?
Quite. Oh, blimey. Might be digging out of it.
Yeah.
Don't stand on that.
Yeah. Might be right there. Oh, that's alright, you'll get, well, I don't know, probably get in.
Knock this cornice off over the top here so it doesn't fall in. Right in there. Give some crack comments. Hey, knock that cornice off over the top of your head, Andy, so it doesn't fall in while you're in there.
Yeah, good plan.
Excellent, that's better.
It's a bit of a sad bloody day when you have to dig your way into the cave.
Yeah. Yeah, this might be the only digging we get done today.
You're not kidding.
What's the pitch looking like?
Don't know, but it's sounding wet, so I don't know where the water's going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I might try to shovel in the snow down the pitch when I get a little bit further in. It's really deep in here.
Well, at least the showground hasn't collapsed anymore since last time.
Yeah, that's because the ground's frozen.
The dry stone wall looks alright anyway.
Yeah, access will be alright, just a bit cold.
Looks a bit slippy. I don't suppose the hole's big enough to fall down, is it really?
Tell you what, there'll be a load of water coming down here when this lot melts.
Yeah.
Oh, superb acoustics. Snow falling down. Yeah, that's quite good. Yeah, I think the pitch head could be a bit tighter today. That'll be alright.
The whole thing moves, Andy, when you touch it.
Oh. Yeah. I'd knock it off. For safety's sake. Excellent. I reckon there's room to get down.
No.
Can you see the ladder belay?
The ladder belay's full of snow.
But anyway, without the shovel, that's for certain.
Well. What bag of crap, eh? Tell you what, might be worth having a rope on just this start bit while we go and rig the ladder.
Yeah.
If, otherwise it's a slippery slope to complete death.
See if I can get in a slightly different viewpoint on Andy's face.
Pause. But it's so bastard cold. I don't know how much of this snow I'm going to have to shovel down. Oh, I'm getting down to the rock here. I'll try and get the ladder in and get it rigged.
You see the belay spike?
The belay spike is visible, poking up above the snow.
The shovel. Camera's rolling.
I'll try and get... I'll try and get a big lump, hang on. Okay. That'll do.
Right, we're running there, Rob. What's a good first question? Okay, what's this place then, Rob? Tell me a bit about it.
This is Echo Pot. It was originally a Bradford dig in the 60s. They entered the first entrance series of the cave. Later it was sold to the NPC. They extended the cave further with blasting and digging. They gave up a particularly tight section. Later ULSA came along and discovered the series of pitches at the end of the cave and pushed it to its conclusion, which is where the end remained for many years. Recently there's been renewed interest in the cave. 2 years ago activity started here again, with ULSA members coming back to push on leads that were known to exist but had not been pushed to any conclusion by the original explorers. We're here today to continue some digging in a passage that was discovered around Christmas time. Also we're going to remove a dead sheep that's just inside the entrance and renders all the water in the rest of the cave totally undrinkable. Right, this is Echo Pot. It was originally a Bradford dig in the 60s. They discovered the entrance series to the cave after extensive digging in this shake hole. The dig was sold to the NPC in the late 60s for a halfpenny. The NPC forced it further through several tight squeezes using blasting. They eventually gave up due to the strenuous nature of the cave, and ULSA came along and forced the halfpenny slot, which is a very tight section of the cave, to discover some rather large pitches at the end. Unfortunately, there was very little horizontal cave in the pitches, but 2 years ago, when activity started in the lower parts of the cave again, more passage was found. Around Christmas we discovered some horizontal cave passage down there, which we're now going to dig today. Also there's a sheep in the entrance series which is quite rancid, and we'd like to remove it so we can drink the water further down, because there's very little water in the dig where we are, and we do get quite thirsty. To get to the part of the cave we're digging today, there's several obstacles to overcome. The first is just inside the entrance here that we're excavating the snow out of at the moment. The top of the pitch is very constricted. There's only room for a ladder, no SRT gear and no lifeline either. It's a 30-foot pitch. At the bottom of the pitch, the next hazard is the sheep, which will go today, hopefully. It's easy stream passage then, or relatively easy, to the second pitch, which drops down into a small chamber. The only exit from this chamber is a very low, wet crawl with a really nasty duck in that really shits me up, to be honest, and I absolutely hate it. Following the duck, which that continues for quite a while, there's a really strenuous passage that was blasted in the 60s. That's incredibly strenuous with tackle, and it's probably one of the worst parts of the cave for me. Following that, there's another duck, the bird bath, which is very easy in comparison to the first duck. Following that is the penny slot, which is incredibly tight, can only be tackled feet first with your battery and your helmet off, and that requires reversing through a very tight circular hole until you come out feet first over a 150-foot pitch. You then have to put your SRT kit on in a very confined space, swing onto the pitch, and from then on it's fairly easy going. At the bottom of the 150-foot pitch, the cave divides into two, into the wet pitch and the dry pitch, and where we're digging today is on a ledge about halfway down the dry shaft. Further down the cave, at the bottom of the dry shaft, there's a 150-foot steep free climb, which would be very deadly. If you fell off it, you certainly wouldn't survive, and that goes down to a sump at the bottom of the cave, which has been dug in the past by ULSA members. The first constriction in the cave to where we got to get to go digging today is the top of this pitch here where Andy's removing snow from at the moment. It's very constricted and requires having your hands right above your head to get down. It's extremely tight and very awkward to find the ladder rungs with your feet. Following this 30-foot pitch here, it's easy going stream passage past the dead sheep, which is hopefully going to come out today, to the second pitch, which is 30 foot and quite easy. The second pitch drops into a small round chamber where the only exit is a very wet crawl out in about a foot-high bedding plane. Halfway along this bedding plane there's a very low duck which is on your back with the helmet off. It's extremely scary. It really shits me up, I have to admit, especially with gear, which can be a problem. Fucked it up.
5. No, 5.
It's about 2 hours caving to where I want to be going digging today, but it's only a relatively short section of cave. The first constriction is at the top of this pitch here, about 5 yards into the cave. It's a very tight section on the ladder. There's no room for SRT gear, which is why we tackle it on ladder. It requires having put your hands right above your head and just feeling for the rungs with your feet and hoping you find them and not sliding down the pitch. From the bottom of the pitch, it's about From the bottom of the pitch, it's easy going streamway until the second pitch. The second pitch is also a 30-foot ladder. That drops into a small round chamber where the only exit is a wet crawl. Along the wet crawl there are horrid ducks that are absolutely fucking terrible, to be honest. Really awful. Following the ducks... Oh, Tony, I've lost it, man. It's about 2 hours caving to where I want to go digging today, with many constrictions along the way. The first of those is at the head of this pitch just here. The head of the pitch is extremely tight and can only be negotiated on a ladder with your hands above your head. From the bottom of the pitch, it's easy going streamway to the top of the second pitch in a few hundred metres. That's a 30-foot ladder which drops down into a small chamber where the only exit is a flat-out wet crawl. Along the crawl there are extremely wet and nasty ducks that are extremely scary and can only be negotiated on your back with your nose in the roof with your helmet off. The added difficulty is taking tackle down the cave. That's why the cave has been rigged for 2 years now. Following those ducts, there's an extremely difficult, strenuous section, which is made worse by having gear. Following that, there's another short duct, the bird bath, that's relatively easy to negotiate. The final serious obstacle is the halfpenny slot, a very tight, phreatic, circular section that can only be negotiated feet first with your helmet and lamp off. You come out of the halfpenny slot feet first onto the top of a 150-foot pitch, where you put your SRT kit on in a very confined space and descend the rest of the cave. The rest of the cave is relatively large compared to the narrow entrance series. Where we're digging is halfway down the second pitch in the cave on SRT. From there, further down to the bottom of the cave, there's a 150-foot free climb down Boulder Alley with some very scary, delicately poised boulders at the top where care must be taken. The cave ends in a sump at the bottom. And that's it. 'Cause I'm fucking freezing. That's that right. That's not about a fucking run. That's down here.
Oh, that one's sucking out. I wish I had another bloody glove and all. It's really shit with only one. Oh, ladder. God, you can go down the hole of despair. We don't need that one, do we? I've cleared all around the belay, you should be able to get in now. So gorgeous when you're suffering personal misery. Oh shit! I don't know if I can do this. I'll rig it and I'll get the.
You've been shoveling for half an hour, you're warm.
Fucking shit! I haven't been shoveling with my toes. I'll tell you that much. Oh shit! The weather's clearing.
Yeah, that's why it's all melted.